Peace. Peace to God Malik. Peace, peace, peace. Let's see who's in here. Let's see who's in here. Malik, man, it's been a busy day for me. I still have some stuff to do. So, as people file in, please let me know any questions that you have, anything that you like to know and stuff. Yeah, I had some stuff to build on. We are in April. Okay, so it is officially April. So, for those that, just as a note for myself, for those that are here since it's April, it's officially another year of teaching here. So, it is officially 24 years teaching here at the school. So that's a wonderful thing. Thank you, Malik. Yeah, it's crazy. I hard to put into context. You know what I mean? You know, definitely difficult. But anybody has any questions? I'd like to start out. Anybody, divine peace, peace, God. Anybody have any questions about anything? I'm here. You know, I have some thoughts about culture and the way that we live it and what we should do. And I will suggest these things. Mr. Cow, peace.
Please go by that class.
Indeed, God.
I'll get some more music to you again too. God, man, I did some more things.
That's peace, God. That's peace. Malik, you asked me what made Elijah give an approximate in the wisdom degree in the 1 to 40, and the rest were answered matter of fact. That's a very good question. So when we're talking about the wisdom degree, we're talking about approximate of circumference, right? The 24,896 versus 25,000. When you're talking about the wisdom degree in the yeah, I never thought of it like that. Um, I, a lot of it is because if you have to look at the knowledge degree and you have to look at the build degree, you know what I mean? The entire circumference of the planet Earth, though the mile, though the year to every mile. So the years and the miles, if you notice, it's really not the other measurements of the land. It's really the connection of approximating and exact with the years and the miles. You know what I mean? So like the solar year is not 25,000 years, right? The solar year is about 26,000. So these miles go year to every mile, and these are approximations. So that's why it's important with the miles. You know, it's a good note. You know, with the other ones though, there could be, hey, maybe the future, our youth, they become they're genius level at these things, and they figure out some things with it. But that was really why, because it was used as an approximation, but also as an exact measurement. All the exact measurements were necessary, but the approximation is suitable for the insight. You know, I gotta find it though, but probably the deepest build that I've ever heard about it was a plus lesson that Dumar Wadi wrote. You know, his went way above and beyond just analyzing that. But each number in the 24,896 and the 25,000. So hope that answers the question, because I'm not really answering um, exactly how the many ways one could build on it. But if you look at that knowledge degree, all the secrets are in there. You know what I mean? There is a balance to what our movement in time and space. And that's what the year to every mile is. You know what I mean? All right. Who it is? It is plugged in. This shit is plugged in. Okay, I'm doing some work here, but I'm also having a little bit of difficulty with the with this laptop, my battery here. So Malik, let me know. Let me know. He was absolutely near every mile on the 1 to 40. Yeah, I go through the 120, and I'm like, wait, did he just give an approximation? Because the build is mainly on the approximation. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the year itself. You know how the year is not exactly, we have 365 days, but there's 5 extra days. It's really supposed to be 360, but there's 5 extra, and that's a whole over because the Gregorian calendar, regardless of how they try to screw it up with Julius and Augustus, it still is based on the solar calendar, of the people of our ancestors of ancient Kemet. So when we deal with the approximations, they tell you general ideas. They make things succinct, brief, insightful, useful for the moment, and that's one of the most important things to take note of. All right, so now let me know these questions because there's something I want to build on. You see 85 out there. Some of them don't know this culture. And they say, well, what is the culture? And they don't mean it like that you don't deal with a mystery God. No negatives here. Like you can't answer what you don't bear witness to, but what you do. What do you do daily? Some questions here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Malik, that's peace. All right. Programmed by society, peace. All right. People's daily activities, diet, training, reading, building, music, right? That is what culture is, right? So then when they ask us about us, so what makes us different? How are we different? This is a difficult question. A lot of people can't answer this though. What do you say to 85 though? I think today's the culture day. We have to have succinct, that's my word today. It means brief, but clear, immediately useful ways of building oh goodness, man. Ah, on how what this culture is. All right. Do-do-do. Let's see. All right. All right. Malik, you said we teach civilization in a way that is necessary depending on the person. Now, is that how you would say it to an 85 or so? The problems in there is that we teach civilization. People don't like to be told they're uncivilized. Then you said in a way that's necessary. And now we're telling them, no, we're giving you things that we think you need. So that's a problem, right? Then Malik, you continue. You say some may need to know that pork isn't good for the body. Some may know or not. Now, let's be more clear about that. I'm reading this. Some may know what love is or just want to know how to resolve conflict situation. Civilization depends on the person you contact. So I would say that's part of our culture. Okay. But if 85 asks you, it wouldn't be useful to say it this way. They would be offended. They probably wouldn't listen. And in a more clear way, we could say our culture has a lot of teaching things that are contrary to what society thinks. Okay, our culture is seeing ourselves as the creators of our reality and studying the science that shows and proves that, and continuing to show and prove that, and sharing it with all that we find. You see what I'm saying? See the difference there? One appeals, one is a little bit more detailed in its right, and not keeping to specifics, and it allows the 85 to say, well, let me see that this sounds interesting, instead of saying like, we teach civilization, like they're here in this civilization. What do you mean? What are you telling me? So these are the things that could cause problems. Clemente, peace. All right. So I'm gonna wait a little bit more. I'm typing some things that I have due. It's some quick forms I have to hand in. Um, so I am paying attention to everybody, but I'm giving these questions because I want to see the answers. Because we keep talking about culture, but we don't. And maybe there aren't as many people teaching out there because they don't know exactly what to say. What to say. 6. I'm laughing because I look at my phone and I have a notification from my daughter. Just put up a little video. Yeah, that's so now I'm excited because I have something to watch when I go home. All right, Malik, you said I see. It's hard to type how a real conversation would go. Yet I get exactly what you're saying. I can't say, for example, say you ever think about it this way, and depending on the answer, I go further. Excellent. Right. No, I understand the discrepancies when we're trying to write it in the text here. You know what I mean? And that's peace. So, but these are things to think about. How would we explain our culture in many formats? How would you explain it in a scholarly journal? How would we explain it to a young kid on the street, very young child, uh, third grade, right? Super general, right? Um, sixth grade, middle school, right? In different ways. All right. So anybody else here? There's more people here. How would you explain this to somebody? Malik, you said, I know when speaking with you, you got to get to the point because their attention span's a little short. Not that they don't want to learn. It's just I get it. I get right to it because when you're, yes, a lot of people do want to learn, but they truly don't have the ability to focus. And with children, it manifests itself in different ways. They either zone out, they could zone out, they could get fidgety, their mind starts to race, right? So there's all types of ways. Okay, I want to hear more. Gonna check in a minute. Again, I'm signing a couple of forms for work, and that's why I asked the question. But there's something, I want to build. I want to really focus today. I'm gonna be here until 8:30. I really want to focus on the details of how we build with the 85. You know what I mean? Um, what are the facets of the culture? So now we have the building with the 85, but then we have the other thing. We have how do we speak to what is the how do we define the culture among our brothers? Right? What would that culture be? Right? How does it work out? Like everybody has brotherhood, sisterhood, familial bonds. When we describe our culture, then what makes it different than the family that a good family, 85 family? Like what makes it different? You see? And then how do you describe that without lowering other people and their cultures, whether they're 85, whatever? How do we do that without just saying lowering other people's, diminishing other people's is a better word. Um, how do we speak candidly about ours and confidently without denigrating others? Right? It's not an easy question. So I'm gonna throw that out there, see how it goes, Right? All right. Malik, that's a good question. I will answer that in a little bit as maybe when we get to the end of this. Hmm. Man, this thing is crazy. All right, let's see what we have here. Pieces of God, King Kamal. All right, let's see. I want to see some answers here. Let's see. Okay, finally. All right. My apologies. I had some forms I had to fill out. So I filled them out and we'll see what we got. Okay. Uh, Self-Ability Billy said, I think during the explaining process, one should use discernment to detect if a person is inquiring out of sincerity or looking to endlessly argue. Yes, but that's a prerequisite that has nothing to do with the question asked, though. We're assuming that they need to have an answer. And they could be one of those people, sincere or disingenuous. All right. Peace, Charles Black. You said also communication is crucial. Our listening is a skill, listening intently to what others have to say and comment and respond accordingly. Now, these are all, a lot of times people want to be heard, but now listen, right? All of these are relevant, but with the question, at certain points in time, this question I'm asking has to be answered. We cannot dismiss it hypothetically. This right now is a thought experiment, and you've got to answer it. What is this culture? How is it special to us? And how do we answer that, though, without being denigrating or condescending? All right. Malik, you said being that culture is that Howard I don't know how I guess you meant to say the supreme mathematics see it before it's really expounded verbally. Being that culture is that expression of the supreme. Okay, now that's correct. It's expression of supreme mathematics, but no one would understand that but those who are also 5%ers. That is an outward expression of supreme mathematics. Yeah, absolutely. But how no one would get that. Charles Back, you said ways and actions alike bring about a culture, understanding of knowledge lived out. Okay, I don't know if that's supposed to be your build for today's mathematics. The question is, it's twofold. First part of this difficult question, these difficult questions was, and it led to the second question. I'm already forgetting what the first question was. Because they're so closely related. I just got lost in the second one. But how would you describe our culture? In other words, what do we really do? What do we really are? What do we really are about? What is our lifestyle to an 85er? All right. The second part of this question then becomes, what does that entail? In other words, right? So that's the first part. That's the first part. The second question is really, as far as ourselves, when we look at other people, what distinguishes us in our culture from, let's say, the culture of another family? What makes us unique? What makes us a culture that is different from any other family out there? And we're assuming not a dysfunctional family of sorts, but a loving family like we would expect most people to be.
Yeah, I think I went to the store. Mars lab.
Okay. All right. King Kamal, that's not incorrect. Our culture is a way of life practiced by living it out. But if we said that to another person, they would say, isn't all cultures a way of life? And aren't we all living, once we identify and describe our culture, aren't we also living it out? So the swine ears, everybody else, like, right? Uh, okay, Charles Black, I'm not sure. Truth differentiates cultures. How math is foundation to all math is also truth. Okay, that's, you made a circular, running a circle statement. No belief, just fact, or what is actual. Not really sure what you're answering here. That's peace, Malik. That would be too easy, though. I wouldn't want you to just do that. We know you can do that. King, you said what makes us unique is that we know who the true and living God is, and they might not and base their life and way of life on this. Now, there you go. You have something there. But that's not what you would say to an 85. And don't think of the evil 85 that deserves to learn nothing because they're disrespectful. You know, we're not talking about the Johnny Neckbones that Dumar was always talking about. Talking about a regular kid on the street, not really in the culture. You know, he's just ignorant to a lot of things. But you know, you want to be well mean to him and plant a good seed there, positivity. If we actually said that, it would be kind of condescending. So, right? Peace, God.
How you be, my
Everything's
brother?
peace, God.
That's great. Always good to see you.
Likewise, God.
Oh yeah, you was missing one a couple of weeks
I
ago.
was, yeah.
Yeah, I figured it had to be important.
It was.
Said my man, oh, listen, I won bets with you before. Hurricane bet.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, right? So when now listen to the question. It's not about saying how our culture is different from others. It's how it is unique. Why is that? Why is that? Why is there a discrepancy there in the two that seems similar? Because we're answering this question to the 85, and you don't listen. Whoever's watching this, you're not going to teach anybody telling that kind of shit. It's condescending. It denigrates them, and all of the potential that you see in them is because they have lived out good things. So we want to funnel that. We want to direct that. Okay. So when you're answering what our culture is about, that's unique, though, you're speaking about the most wonderful things about it, not trying to find distinctions. Well, we do this, as opposed to, even if you say it overtly or you mean it insinuated, as opposed to you guys not doing this. We do this and y'all don't do that. Not like this. Not like that. It would not work that way. Right? So Self-I Build takes the daring approach. He says, respect yourself. Respect is paramount. Right? Now, again, Self-I Build. These aren't rules of engagement I'm giving. Okay? The assignment is not rules of engagement. So we're not concerned if the person is worthy or not worthy. Okay? We're concerned with being able to answer the question without being condescending. So the person that we are speaking to, their ways and actions are not relevant to this. This is why this thought experiment has to work. For example, if people are rude and they come in here and they ask me certain things, I cannot match rudeness for rudeness just for the sake of it. I'm representing the entire school, which means I'm representing the entire nation. And no one can take me off my square. No one can draw me up. I cannot allow it, especially when I'm representing everyone. So we have to answer questions sincerely, right? Without being condescending. Okay? And we have to challenge, we have to take on this question of answering what is our culture, even if it seems that, well, we have a more abrasive approach, maybe a little condescending, maybe a little over righteous, even say, because I already inspected the person and they're accepting of themselves being savage and they got that respect with to learn. It doesn't get there from the minute one. This is not how it is when you talk in the street. If you do, it's because, if you do it, it works, it's because you're using your power over people. Okay? All right. King, you said, when I connect with an 85, I point out all the great things about them and explain to them how to enhance that by introducing them to the idea of knowledge of self. There we go. That is a strategy for dealing with the 85. Okay. That is crucial in the mentality I'm looking for in answering this question. All right. But the question is still not answered. Some people want to know what this is, though, and then walk the other way. Some people are curious about it and want to sit down by themselves with it for a while. These are big decisions, and some people, honestly, when they're dealing with this knowledge, they actually they're actually aware of that. They're not all blind to it. They're aware that there could go either way. Stay with what they stay in or go with this. what we deal with, and they know it's a big decision. And so they need to mull it over. They are willing to mull it over. Okay, this is another thing, another crucial point. Okay, Malik, you said we based our culture on a principle of mathematics as supreme. They could be proven in no amount of time and very practical in our everyday lives. Our culture, I mean, that helps us orient ourselves, uniquely, inherently help us go about a better manner than we did before we had this knowledge. Malik, you have answered the question. That is one of the ways to answer the question. And the mentality to go into the question is what King Kamal has said. That mentality is supreme. We have to stop looking and speaking to the 85 condescendingly because we were all 85. Okay? You want to put him through the ringer and all that like that? Teach him tough. Teach him good. But how would we explain this? For example, not every 85, every person that you tell this to is going to be a student. There are many times where I've had to explain what we deal with, though, to um, the parents of teenagers that I'm teaching. Okay? This happens especially when you're in the school. The community is here. All right. Let's see what you have. 793rd piece. All right. You know, I wanted to say this though. This is a thought I had when I was getting up. I was thinking that in these 25 years, right? The most difficult part though is that I have been able to teach other children, um, youngsters, teenagers, young adults at a far more intense time and depth than even my children in many respects. Many of my children are still young, and there's still much to teach them. But because of the way my life has gone, though, I haven't had as much time with them as I absolutely feel I need and would have loved. When I see other people that have this knowledge, though, and I say that it's not enough to be a 5%er and just be teaching your family. I also have to say this though. Not everybody can do that. You see, we're the 5% though, but the truth is that many people will not have the ability, the talent, or the time to be able to teach those that are outside, to teach those that are outside of their family. Find the strangers, connect with the community, um, and all of that. We could chastise them, right? But if you are one of them, though, that you just teach your children and haven't really got out there, or it's been years, you're older now. Maybe you're my age though, and you just don't connect out there in the street. You know, it's very possible though. You know, um, understand that your children is another teacher that you are teaching. They're going to teach others if they truly learn it well. And this is something that you have to take note of, and you put your energies into that. All of your energies into it. Absolutely all of them. Right? And I just wanted to say that because I think sometimes like we build, and yes, my thought, if we talked about the ideal 5%er, and it even could be condescending coming from me, is someone that is teaching out there. But at the same time, I put myself in that position. And the truth is that putting myself in this position of teaching you for 24 years, doing work that appeals to youth, which just happens to be because I do hip hop and I'm always around it, so many people. And then, I also teach youth at schools, and so I'm around the youth. I put myself in that position. But at the same time, though, we have to understand this, that part of the sacrifice of being a 5%er has also been the difficulties in building a family with those who can't live it out, right? Whoever we decide to be a partner with, even if we have children, doesn't mean that they will survive in this culture and really understand it to continue and want to even continue to live it out. Just because something is the truth does not make it easier. It actually makes it harder. And that is something that is unacceptable to many people over time. And doing this long is a wonderful sacrifice, because this, I don't know, I could call this a sacrifice because it has had so many benefits on my life. To do so much that whatever has been sacrificed, I don't even know how to. I couldn't quantify that in any kind of way that could overcome, what I've gotten from this nation. And like I say, listen, I'm happy. I'm always a little happy when it's this beginning of April. 24 years. 24 plus 24, right? 24 times 2 is 48. So that means I've been teaching at this school, this class, this session, this time for half my life. Half my life. And so I just want to say that anybody, like, if you can't teach, you feel you lost the ability to teach out there, find people, connect with them. Connect with those that you connect with. Build with those that you connect with. There's going to be ideals of this, and we know that it is going to be, because the school was put here actually for those that couldn't teach very well or didn't have the time to teach briefly, in detail, to broaden the horizons completely, take people through 120. And it was here where, at a law school, where they would send the student and they would send them here. And I would see gods that were builders, but they can't build with everybody the way they should. They're doing their own thing. They have their families, whatever they have. Come and bring them here, because we are sacrificing that time to teach them. Whether it's Darkim, whether it's Allah Shah, right? Allah Shah on Saturday, or it's me on Thursday. So this is real important. Just like it's important that if you really want to learn this, to really find someone to educate, to have someone detail the particular questions, to learn an educator, an enlightener, to build with you particularly, to help you find, as they scour your mind, the specific questions that they see are best answered, the best works, right? This is important. It could not be more important. Okay? Program, you said there's a culture not to be confused with religion, where we don't need faith and hope to connect with God, because from this you will see and acknowledge who is the true living reality is within you. If that is said sincerely, it's proper. It's proper. Very direct. It'll work. Walking around because I'm cold. I'm always cold. Okay, let's see. All right. So if I build, some of the people have questions up there. They had answers that were good. All right. I gave some thoughts. Malik, you had a question. Since I was already talking about this, let me talk about it with the question, referring to the question that you asked me about. Malik, you asked me, how's the culture grown in your 20 years of teaching at 2122 7th Avenue Meet? How has the culture grown? We could talk. I mentioned how I feel like I've grown immensely, right? But I think the culture has grown to me because you see less people, but you see in the fruits of a lot of work out into the world. The people that shared it, the people that kept teaching it, the families that you come across. You know, I teach at different schools, and I was at a school yesterday. Most of the schools I teach in are in P.E.A.C.E. Most of them, and not all of P.E.A.C.E. A lot of them. And we're using a classroom for this program, and some of the seats. Peace God. It's a science guy. That's peace God. And the kids' names are on the seats from the classroom that's usually there during the day. And one of the kids' seats had the name Nasir Allah, right? And he may have been a 5% child, you know? And I was thinking about that, and I was like, wow, you know, like, that's beautiful, man. Young God is in this class, you know, like, it's powerful, you know? Powerful. Nice. So I have to say about that, you know? The culture has grown because people have lived it out, and no matter what we say about, oh, there's not enough 5% is this and that, there are more works and impacts of 5%ers now than ever. Maybe not the impacts that shine in the commercial world. Music, in the public eye, pop music, right? Popular music. They're mad because 5% rappers aren't blowing up. Hip hop isn't a popular music. It never was a popular music. If it continues to be popular, meaning diluted enough where more and more people appreciate it for its, simplistic values, simplistic projections, whatever, wouldn't really be hip hop anymore. And you can bet it most likely isn't, right? So, in these 20 years, it's 24, this century really, I've really been teaching this whole century, like, literally. Look at the books, the quality of scholarship. insights. It's impeccable. And we should be proud of that. Right? This class goal is not just to show you the knowledge of self, but once it's shown to you, to get you to the point where you start to fulfill the talents of your abilities. Fulfill your talents. Become a creator of some sort. Become someone that challenges oneself constantly, consistently. And immensely. Let's see. All right. King, you said, what do we do when life gets hard? He opened our book of 120 and turned to chapter 1, verse. Let's see that guy. Yeah. It's all in the work you put in. And I would say, like, if you feel like you're not a good teacher, feel like you're not, practice explaining things. Study the way you speak. Study your communications with people that you love and that and put some more care into your word structure. Express yourself and put some feeling into it. Make sure that what you say is said with complete meaning and not expected to be assumed, right? If you really enjoy something and you tell a loved one about it, make sure they know that. If you disagree with something, how do you say it? Practice how you say it. These are the things that make someone a good teacher, make someone a good listener. And I'll say this, that it just ends up being experience, I'm teaching in in the schools, and there's a lot of kids, kids that are not doing so well, and they give them to me and stuff, and they wonder why. They wonder how I get this rapport very quickly with them. A lot of that is experience. We have to get a rapport with the youth, or else they're gone. They will learn their lessons the wrong way. They will be faced with hardships, and then they won't get the lesson, even though it's presented in the most worst way. But that's all practice, experience, the willingness to speak, and we just have to know how we sound, know how we project. That's why I tell you guys to write, because it's one of the ways to see your ideas right in front of you, and then say, "This isn't written well at all." Now, if I can't write this well, that means I may only be speaking a little bit better than that. I have to read more. Right? Read more. Speak more. Listen much, much more. Right? And then. So this is all important, And that's our culture. Now, this is not answering the question. I think it was answered Malik and King. They really were on the ball there. But our culture to ourselves, like when we're in this nation, has to be a sincerity to it, a pure joy. Because if you don't, then this culture, this way of life is not different than anything else. It's a club. And the unity of this club is the consistency of realizing, accepting, maybe proliferating, sharing in some way. In fact, it's true. And it's not that impressive when you think about it. Hopefully in the year 10,000 years from now, saying the black man has got such a blatantly factual statement that I say this all the time. It's such a blatantly factual statement that like, yeah, and we won't say peace God and peace earth because everybody just is. So no need to tell him that he's the God. Right? That's why when we say peace God, like King Kamon, peace to the God. Malik Allah, peace to the God. We're saying that because he already knows he's the God. He knows that I see my brother as God. You know, but we need that. We need that build. We need that build up. Right? We need that build up. Right? We need to build it up and build it up. I'm starting to sing Extra and Simpson now, but it's really important, right? Peace of God free. All right. Self, you said definitely many have benefited from these teaching in ways that can't be fully quantified. They may not be a 5%, but they remove a lot of destructive habits, become more right in conduct. Word. King, come on, you said, do you think there is such thing as someone who has the knowledge who aren't meant to teach because they lack compassion, patience, and delivery? Because I've been around many, I would say, unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. Not everyone is a good teacher. Not everyone is a good teacher. Everyone that has this knowledge most likely can teach a certain type of person. The reason the Father sent everybody out is because they were in the street, so they're going to find people that are like them and interested, and so they should be able to connect. But as a teacher like this, I'm trying not to be too egotistical. But for whatever skills I have developed over 24 years, the gods, the elders that were here, acknowledge me, my enlightener, remembered in perfection. Savior knowledge, firstborn prince, remembered in perfection. Wise Dumel, remembered in perfection. Duma Wadi, remembered in perfection. They all knew that I really had the ability to share in a way that makes people understand in a simple, direct way. And it wasn't because I used baby words. It was because I took them on the trip to greater words, harder words, difficult ideas, nice and smooth. It's funky. Also hip hop junkie. But yeah, nice and smooth, man. You know? Always raising them up. I use difficult words even with my fifth graders, fourth graders. You know, it's important to treat people like they can follow, and if they can't, you grab them with you. And that is an ability that people don't have. They don't have that ability. You know, and it's not. Since I'm being asked a question, it's not everybody. Not everybody has it. You know. But it is a ability that with this culture is one that needs to be molded and developed, you know? So I have that experience, right? A lot of it, you know? I mean, they saw that ability in me, you know? I'm teaching here 24 years, but I came here 25 years ago. So in that 1 year, they knew I had the ability and put me through, you know? Right? You know, a lot of people don't know if you're online and you don't get to come to law school, but when I have students in the class, I usually walk around a lot. I never stay in front, you know? They knew they were God then, and maybe we know now, especially since you're Muslim. How do I feel when they verified or qualified you to teach? You mean how did I feel when they verified? Um, Feels different now. Back then, I just was like, this is what we do, and this is where they're putting me, and this is what I'm gonna do. And it was hard. It was very, very hard. I had to be sharp, and being sharp drains a lot of energy when you're not used to doing that. I still feel the same way as far as having to be sharp. Um, but I'm in that comfort. Just like I was learning a lot of uncomfortable things. How to teach here, I was learning martial arts. Everything was at the same time. So being in discomfort to learn I was I became very comfortable in that. Yeah, I really did. I really did. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what though? Because it's so long, so many years, how it feels to be validated. I think validated is more than verified, validated. Um, these all these legends that passed away, these great legends that taught me, um, they slowly validated me and with love, real love, and that was a great day to day feeling. Great day to day feeling. Yeah. All right, give me a moment. I'm gonna go use the restroom quick, and I'm gonna come back. Collect your questions, builds. We have a half hour left. All right, peace. All right, what are the main qualities of a good teacher in your opinion? Stuff I build. All right, I'm gonna answer this personally as how what I have experienced as the great teachers that taught me, and also what I try to be for students. And this is students teaching them anything, whether I teach them martial arts, whether I teach them, I also do mentoring, um, and also teaching them the knowledge here as their enlightener. Someone that listens to you, point blank, somebody that knows a lot of shit. They gotta know, they gotta show and prove. This is why the first thing I tell people when they come into my class, you have to make sure that you verify who it is that's teaching you. Make sure that they are equipped. This is important. All the other stuff aside, great vibe, great mannerism, a great, a very nice nature, congenial. None of that matters though if they really don't know that much. This is you. They got to be studying. They got to be researching. They got to be able to show you where to learn things, show you how to learn on your own. So they got to know stuff. They got to be really, really well versed. They've got to be experts. What makes a really great teacher after that, is that ability to understand the nature of another person's confusion. The nature of another person's confusion is very difficult to comprehend. One of the reasons it's difficult to comprehend is because those who are learned are disgusted by that identity, by identifying by that recognition. They're disgusted by that presence, and so they don't teach. So 10% ways can even happen just like that. I taught many people that are real smart, and they weren't 5%ers. They didn't become 5%ers, and sometimes it was because they didn't like to teach, and they looked down on people that didn't have. They never looked at and realized that they didn't have anything, and what they got, they didn't even keep. This is something you can't have it, can't keep it. You can't keep it if you don't share it. You don't keep it without giving it away. So that's important too, right? Very important. I think also too, in a long-term student, how to build them up into a trajectory, how to guide them to a trajectory of expectations. I'll give a recent example, right? We all heard me EMC albums last year with King Kamal. Working on another I have a solo album ready to go, and I'm working on another one. And much of this is because of King Kamal's ability to teach, his ability to guide, give a trajectory of where you should be and where do you expect to be. This takes out the fear of many things. That if I just work hard, though, I'm going to get there, and I will get there. It's almost like recognizing your chi, even though you don't really feel it. But visualizing that chi is there and then moving it. Same thing, same process. Right? This is important. Very valid. Right? So the way King Kamal would show me things and then put them in the physical reality. Perform this. Here's this track. You have the assignment of doing this. A good teacher knows how to give an assignment, knows how to test you, knows how to put you into play. You know, that's important too. And I don't know. I know I'm not mentioning everything that is necessary in this self I built. There's so many things. You know, they have to have a warmness for people. They have to love the people. You know what I mean? They have to be able to speak clearly, have a good clarity. And there's different types of clarity. And clarity comes with the personality that's projected. So certain time people, with the youth, for example, make it more easier. With little children, they expect to learn, but they learn so much better when it comes with a charismatic, um, delivery, presentation. Presentation is key, right? All this is important. Such a balance. It's a difficult balance. That's definitely important. Right? Definitely important. Malik, you said, how do you feel from there and now teaching as light, working out? You feel your endurance gets stronger? I'm not sure what you're saying there. I'm a little confused by the question, Malik. But you said in the born degree and 1 to 14, 35 to 50 years generation, or was the reference in 35 to 50 years? 35 is already over a generation, right? Malik, you said, I'll look at 120 as a cloud and the drops of wisdom to be examined under a microscope. That makes sense. That makes sense. 793 said, appreciate the wisdom culture use, sacrifice, and put into help make this lifestyle walk or talk spread the best equality for those that seek deeply interested. Thank you. Thank you, 793. Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes when you give it, not sometimes, but when you give it out and you share it, it makes it real, you know? It makes it real. And then us being the true and living God, when we share it, we're bettering that person. And now we're seeing how the entire world gets better. Now, this is walking and talking now. Now it's just not talking, it's walking. It's living. This is important, you know? But these are all important things. You know what I mean? And the longer you teach, trust me, the longer you teach, the more that you can see what people need, you know? And for me, this is for me, that a lot of times though, it's easier to find it in the father was right. It's easier to find that, understand that confusion of necessity, identify that confusion and relate to it and build with them. It's easier with with the younger student. It's always easier. The younger you go, the children, little children, it's not much you can give them as far as like, oh, I can't give them a whole 120, this and that. But all the children are a long-term project for us. They're all to be built on for a long period of time. And so you can build with them in such a way that you give them seeds. You know, if you guide them, if you tell them, you're going to learn this and this with me, and you're going to be great at it. You know how many kids lose their fear of martial arts and stuff when you say that? I see it. You don't see it? They see it. They start to see it. You know? So that's important. Self-magnetic. Peace of the God. So right now we got 15 minutes left. Anybody has any questions or anything like that? You know what I mean? And like I said, if you don't have egos teaching, if you don't have time, send them to someone that has time. You know what I mean? That's what the school is for. That's literally what the school is for. It's actually the purpose of the school. Okay? I should talk about this with YG Mel all the time. Not everybody can teach everybody. They got lives. They're busy. You know, it's not like we go to work and we always get paid what we need to live well. That nearly never happens, right? So not everybody's going to have time to do stuff. And honestly, we will have different levels of sacrifice. The truth is that if you want to do things great, your level of sacrifice has to be sometimes abnormal. And I will tell you that to do this and a lot of the other, really everything I've done, I've had to have a lot of abnormal sacrifice with things. I have sacrificed so much that people have found to be selfish. That's how much. To train, to teach here, to create, to write. You have to sacrifice a lot. And most people don't see it. It don't matter though, because once it's done, it'll be respected. And once it's done, though, willingly, it'll be seen as now we see if it's necessary. You know? But all these abilities, you know, like some people are not built to teach though, but that's their own. Everybody can build. Everybody can build up to a point. You know, when I say some people are definitely not, it's because they had enough time to try and they know enough and they didn't work on it with sincerity. And so, no. But if you're young or if you never really got out there and build like that, and now you're confident that you know enough that you can build and you're not sure, you're only going to know by trying. You're not going to know by keeping it to yourself. You're not going to know this either by doing Facebook posts. You know? That's cool. That's a build, but that's really like an online journal. People are looking at your journal. It's not the way to go. And really, a lot of times builds on social media are just the exercise. Today's mathematics is culture. Culture's way of life. Truly, we got as black man. That's our way of life of being ourselves. You know, rudimentary stuff. You know what I mean? The exercises. You know what I mean? But don't confuse a horse stance though with getting your ass kicked with real kung fu. You know? One is the exercise, the other is the real building. You know? Don't get them confused. Social media is usually just, you know, a lot of guys standing in a horse stance. Peace to the God. I don't have any plus lessons on the science of the clock though. When I had read it years ago. It didn't take with me. I have to look at my box of plus lessons. Maybe I have a plus lesson on that. You know what I'm saying? I think I had something about Robert Walker too, though. You know what I mean? All right. There are many people that went their own way, learned this knowledge, did things, tried to have their own nation and their own ways of doing things. And, you know, when they veered away too much, though, then they were on their own. Robert Walker would be one of those people, you know?
Hello. Yeah,
by the way, weather's gonna get better soon in New York eventually, right? I think maybe, but if certainly not this weekend, but by next weekend, if it stops raining, the weather will get hotter. So I offer it now. There, I have like one regular student, because I'm out of Staten Island. Most people don't want to make that trek, but if you're interested in learning martial arts, whether as an introduction or to really intensely learn, I still am teaching. If you make yourself available on the weekends to come up to Staten Island, got a great place to train. If it really is worth the trip for you and you're interested, you can email me sunez97@gmail.com. I will give you the rates. The rate is, trust me, for the amount of time I'm with you, it's not minimum wage. That's all I have to say about that. You know what I mean? But I will teach you completely. Okay? And you can use this. You know what I mean? So a lot of people. So if you're in the New York City area and you start noticing getting hotter and stuff like that, inquire. Okay? Because I have to know people will be there, or else I'll just train. And usually that I won't even. I'll train very early, and I won't even be there at the time that we would train. You know. But that's something I think I'll offer too and stuff. You know. So if you're interested about the rate or whatever, if you have children and you bring them, man, the rate applies to adults. If you're honestly, if you're 15 and under, if you're not knowledge equality, you're free. You know what I mean? You're free. And honestly, probably up to 20. I teach anyone up to 20 years old free. You know, if you're 19 and under, I'll teach you for free. But the rate is low. That's the only thing, because I don't expect like young people that age, teenagers. I don't expect them just taking out money and stuff. That's okay. They could save it for other things that they need. But let people know. Again, if you're in the New York City area and you're watching me, though, you're depressing me. You should be here, because when you're here, you're going to get something special that's not going to be online. You're going to come here on time, and we're going to build, and then we're going to open up in this general build here. And there's jewels in this general build, willingly, I hope, right? That you can use, and I educate you. But I'm not taking anyone through 120 per se here. I'm not taking anyone through the deeper sciences, because it has to be applied to that individual. And that's something that's done on a more one-to-one basis, which can be achieved if you're far away. Right? But you have to contact me directly. Right? And I'm saying that because I'm almost out of here. What's my thoughts on the solar eclipse? I was watching a video with the guy about how people saying it's all the religious stuff, though. The solar eclipse is going to pass through 7 cities named Salem. And other kinds of shit. Solar eclipse. If we're worried about like the omens, about the devil's doing stuff, they've been doing stuff though. This is not the straw that broke the camel's back. I think a solar eclipse is great to do the knowledge too and everything, and it's a functional reality of the universe that we made. So I don't see anything prophetic, biblical, extra inimical. Right? I like that word, inimical. It means causing harm.